what a great thing
Yeah.
that you get old, right? Now it's almost like everybody's doing everything again, not to get old. I got news. You're getting old,
Yeah.
or you're dying. Those are your only two options. You're not enough surgery on earth that's going to prevent that.
Well, you look at the Hollywood stars, and they look so plastic.
I
it's-
hate that.
That works out. It's like,
I can't stand that.
So you know David Hasselhoff from Knight Rider?
oh, yeah.
I saw him in Hawaii, and literally, his face was so stretched tight. He had an 18-year-old wand on his arm. I'm like, you need to get over
Yeah, figure
yourself.
this out.
I couldn't look at my daughters in the face if I would try to date someone like.
Yeah, they would.
My daughters would go, Dad,
Yeah.
Dad.
You never heard him.
Well, you decided. We're gonna have an intervention here.
I almost couldn't bring Michelle 11 years younger than me, so I'm like, 11 years, baby, she's old.
How old is she?
55.
55.
Yeah, at that age, it don't matter.
What?
She's old. She looks older than me. Don't tell her. I mean, I look as young as her.
There you go.
That wrong.
Yes. Exactly.
That frame.
That's in your genes.
Yeah, yeah, like that. Yeah. That's a black thing. Scientifically proven.
There you go.
Well, and Asian women are,
Oh, yeah.
oh my gosh, they're remarkable.
I used to be enamored with Asian women.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I spent 3 years in Japan. I knew I was going to
And you didn't.
I didn't work out that way. Probably good for her.
Yeah. So, Chris, our next show, we're going to have 6 people.
I saw that.
Yeah. So, we're going to go wide.
Yeah.
We got Jonathan Lieber this time. He's so famous. We only
Yes.
need one.
Yeah.
How about that?
You're the only person we've ever done one
Yeah,
person
you
with.
are.
I think it's just like that just makes more pressure now. It's like,
Get ready.
You're it, man. You gotta be famous. We know everyone. It's hard to carry a show, 1 hour show of nothing. Right? 2 hosts. So you do have to pressure my brother.
I mean, the good news is we'll have plenty of good stuff to talk about.
totally.
So, it'll go by
Don't
quick.
make you nervous.
It's on you, bro. We're the highest rated show. That's all on you.
Yeah.
They're like, that's when the rating different when John came out, right?
No, people perked up when I did my post on that. They were like, ooh. They're like, good line.
What's the one that SPDC? She's not there anymore. She's She's still in town, but she works for the state. She works for the feds. Oh, for the feds. That's right. Yeah, yeah.
We really gotta get her on.
She runs a state region.
Yes.
Huh? Yeah.
Interesting. If you think of other people too, let me know. I'm in the name now, but yeah, just people who are really giving back and giving values. They don't even need to have a business. Yeah. We had a deacon on before. Yeah, we had different ones. Oh yeah, you missed that one.
How long has the show been going?
I did 2 years before I did.
Yeah, this is the 3rd year. They brought me on in January.
Yeah.
It's more noticeable now that we're part third. I'm just saying this.
My wife Michelle has an iPad.
Are you serious? I'm your biggest fan.
We don't have any support at all from my home.
Crazy.
Right?
If it was on the radio, I would be all over that.
Yeah.
I would be asking questions. Oh,
Well,
that
after
was
you
so
revive
funny.
me, when Michelle's on the radio, you would have to revive me first. Then I'd be all over it. All right, you ready?
Live.
Let's rock this.
Awesome. This is country, Frank. We like country music. I love country.
I know you do.
Two-step
We
the
don't
mess
play
out
it.
of this. Hey!
She snuck one in there.
I know,
I
right?
so did it. Sage did.
My daughter loves
It's fun. Do you dance?
Not for a long time.
Well, the way
Just
you
growing up here.
dress up, I was like, wow. You can.
Well, that's not true. You know, all the events, we have to events, it's like 2 months a month. Sneaking in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sound ready? French ready.
Always ready. That's a better opening song, right? Well, good morning, everyone. It's Frank Sinclair on the Be Encouraged Show with Frank and Lisa on a Monday morning, Motivation Monday, following the great Ron Young here at Family Flavors, The Slide. One day I'm gonna get my guests to do that with me. The Slide, right? Right? Can you do that, Lisa?
The slide.
Yeah. But you did
I don't have a
you did
deep
give it a
voice
try.
like
Give it a props. I give you props. At least you tried, right? Yeah, we got some things going on here at Family Flavors. March 22nd, Homeless Not Hopeless, Volume 10, and that's Derek's birthday as well. Please give him a call. I know that you want to be a part of that with Phoenix and the gang. 719-300-7936. Call them at the station here. And also on May 6th, Macaroni Kid. I have no idea what this is, but it looks fun, huh,
Yes,
Lisa?
it does.
The Macaroni Kid is free to the public. Find your family fun here at UC Health Park here in Colorado Springs, 10 to 3. Also, once again, their number is 719-300-7936. I'm the Chief Encouragement Officer for Dream Again Business Consulting, where we bridge the gap between discouragement and hope. Also, make sure that you go to Amazon. Why should they go to Amazon?
To buy your books.
Hey, she is trained up in this place. So it's trying to be. Yeah. Pick a copy of one of my 3 books that are available. Just put in Frank Sinclair. They're on Amazon, hopefully to help you in your life pursuit, coaching, business, and also my story. So, Lisa, what the heck's happening with you?
Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday morning. We are here, and I just wanted to share a little bit about what I do. I am the owner of InnovateSuccess.com. And why should you care? I actually connect you for free to local, reputable businesses. And I'm super excited today because we actually have Jonathan Liebert, the CEO of the Better Business Bureau. And just a side note on that, I actually vet businesses, and part of my vetting process is through the BBB website. And that is one of our processes that we do every single month to vet businesses and re-vet them to make sure for quality control. So
Did you know that, Jonathan?
I did not, so that's fantastic that you're doing what you're doing, because trust is more important than ever now.
Yes.
And, since the pandemic, there's been a lot of, let's just say, interesting business practices. So
yes.
we gotta stay on top of it.
Yes.
We gotta make sure consumers are getting in touch with really good people that are doing really good work. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that seemed to, that wasn't clear enough for me. Interesting business practice. Did you elaborate?
Well, I can elaborate. And interestingly enough, today, the BBB risk report just came out at the national level. And sadly enough, we're seeing just a huge increase in scams. And, when you look at what happened with the pandemic and you think about what goes on with scammers and what they do, fear and uncertainty are the two things that's the recipe for what scammers use. And that's kind of what we had for the last couple of years, right? Fear and uncertainty.
Absolutely.
And so that just bred a whole new breed of scammers. And so the dollar amounts are going up. The number of scams are going up. Consumers have to be more careful than ever. And, you've also got to understand that businesses they're trying, in some cases, they're trying to do the best they can. They might not have the workforce. They might not have the supplies. And so people are a little bit grumpy as well. So, some of that might be temporary, but some of it could be people absolutely just out there to get you, take your money and scam you. So we all have to be vigilant, be aware of that, and got to make sure that we're finding trustworthy businesses that are going to do a good job.
Absolutely. So I recently, Carla Wink over at the BBB, and she introduced me to a gal on your team who's actually focused on that. She does a deep dive all through all different areas. I'll let you shed more light on that. But.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it is important to know that consumers are aware that from a BBB perspective, in every single office, usually there's one or even more individuals that investigate these issues that are going on with companies. So most people kind of know that, if there's an issue, you can leave a complaint, you can leave, a 5-star, 1-star, review, etc. But when we get calls about individuals or businesses doing some, unnecessary things, some shady things, or what we call a pattern of complaint, meaning that we get the same complaint over and over again from different people, that's when we begin to investigate these claims and really kind of make sure that we're doing the best we can to kind of put some pieces together. And we law enforcement, we might partner with the Secretary of State. So we work with a lot of different folks to make sure that we're keeping consumers safe. And a lot of times, different government agencies will tell consumers that BBB is usually the first line of defense on these things. And we just launched a brand new website called BBB Scam Tracker. And that is crowdsourcing data. So whenever you see anybody on Facebook that asks the question, well, is this a scam? If you're asking the question, I hate to break it to you, but it's a scam. So that's kind of the rule.
Yeah.
If you're asking, it probably is.
Yeah.
Right? Don't click the links either.
Yeah.
But then number two, if somebody's online saying, is this a scam? What can you tell me about it? That's when you need to tell them, go to bb.org/scam tracker. You can put information in there. You can ask more questions. You can let other consumers in your area know that here's a scam. Here's the phone number. Here's the link. Here's the person that called me. Put that information in that database. It's so important right now because, like I said, scams are going up, and it's a problem.
Yeah, and speaking of that was a great question, Lisa. Jonathan, we kind of got ahead of ourselves. Lisa was so excited about you being here.
I'm excited to be here.
We just kind of just jumped right in. I'm excited too. Just not as excited as her. So
We'll get you there. We'll get you there.
you get me there. All right. Build this thing. Yeah. So give us a little bit of background about who Jonathan Liebert is. How long you've been in your current position and why?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks again for having me on the show.
You
I
bet.
appreciate the work that both of you do, and it's much needed in this community for sure. So thank you. But I'm the CEO, as you already mentioned, as the BBB of Southern Colorado. So I've been in that role as the CEO for about 7 years now.
Wow.
I'm also the CEO and co-founder of another organization called the National Institute for Social Impact, which focuses on mission-driven businesses that have a higher purpose. And I know we'll talk about that as well.
Indeed.
And then I'm also fortunate enough to be an adjunct professor at UCCS. So I get to teach college students about business, but then specifically, this is news as well. UCCS finally created you get a minor in social impact strategies.
Whoa,
Wow.
really? Didn't you start that at Pikes Peak State College?
So Pikes Peak State had a class. I actually teach it over at UCCS, and just a couple weeks ago, they said, you know what, we see the interest, we see the direction this is going in, we're going to create a minor. If that becomes more successful, then hopefully we'll turn into a major.
And
So
that's at UCCS?
that's at UCCS, yeah, in the business school.
And give us an idea. We may have some kids out listening on the show, and they're going, a minor in social impact.
Impact, yeah.
Yeah. How could that be leveraged as they enter the workforce?
That's a great question. And I think what I tell really everybody, and the two of you know this already, but business is evolving. business is changing. And a lot of young people, they're already kind of hardwired for this. It's like in their DNA of, I want to make money, but I also want to do good, but I don't know what it's called. And I don't know the strategies, that I need to use that and plug it into a job. So I would say to everybody, really what we're kind of seeing right now is that when you look at even job postings right now, they're shifting and changing. We're seeing more new positions being created around CSR, corporate social responsibility, ESG, environment, social and governance, something around impact, sustainability, all of these different positions. So I think for young students and young people to know just in general, you probably need to get this as a background in most anything you're going to have, to be today.
Yeah.
A lot of the programs out there already for students are around sustainability, but there's more that's being added specifically to the business perspective of this, being able to use this degree to go and to track sustainability, but also to create the social impact where you're focusing on social issues, when you're focusing on equity issues, and really making sure that you're using business as a force for good and not just merely something for gain, that you're doing both. And so I think you're going to see more and more of these programs pop up in many, many different degree programs, because this is where businesses are going. This is what consumers are asking for. And this, quite honestly, this is how young people think.
It is how they think, absolutely. And you have to be a business major to minor there. Can you major another track, communications? It seemed like that would be a link
Right.
to having a social impact minor as well, or you just have to be business?
For right now, it's business, but interesting you asked that question too. I had an email from one of the professors in the Business of Innovation program at UCCS. This is one of their really cool degree programs that's open to anybody. And so you can come in from different backgrounds and participate in this Bachelor of Innovation program. And so that's another angle we're trying to kind of get it into, to open it up to more students, because to your point, it just makes more sense to have it more available.
Absolutely. Yes. Wow. That is incredible, isn't it?
Do they offer that online? I'm just curious if someone's out of state and they.
Yeah, not yet,
Okay.
but I think that's kind of the plan. And so this is going to be a couple different programs that they're testing out. And I think if it is successful, then they'll probably offer that more. And then, as I said too, have it be a major.
Yeah.
So, but at this point, we've done a year of it already. So I've taught for a full year with the curriculum. Students loved it, got good feedback from them. And so now that it's going to be offered that way, they'll probably just market it and get some good information and data back. And then hopefully within a year, the length of time it will take to determine whether they do further or if they offer it in different settings in that way. So.
That's incredible. Maybe we should do a field trip and go into his students and talk to them.
You are always welcome to come and hang out in the class, come talk to the students. So I bring guests in all the time. So
We should do that, Frank.
Take
Are
a
you
stand.
down?
standing
I'm
on
all down for that. Yeah.
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 We'll
Yeah.
coordinate that.
Yeah,
I
that'd
think
be
that
fun.
would be powerful.
That would be powerful.
Next generation.
There we go. Yeah, somehow we want to figure out one day how to do mobile. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And get out into the community and talk to people from a mobile perspective. I want to kind of circle back to BBB though, because and then we can revisit the social impact piece as we deep dive deeper today. Because the service at BBB, you tell people right now, Jonathan Lieber, why should they be BBB certified?
Yeah. That's a great question. So the accreditation is so important right now. This is what I tell consumers, is because here's what's interesting. Pre-pandemic, we're talking about trust at a national level. Pre-pandemic, when you would talk to Americans, the minority, but still it's a lot.
Yeah.
Now, after the pandemic, we're in what we are calling a trust crisis right now. Consumers naturally don't trust. So 7 out of 10 Americans start in a place that they don't trust. And that goes for all the different institutions that are out there. So that goes for media, that goes for government, that goes for NGOs, and that goes for business. Now, business is, when you look at those 4 institutions, they're at the height of this. So they are the most trusted institution in America right now. And so people are looking to good business, the products and services that they need, but they kind of start in this place of distrust. So getting that BBB accreditation is more important than ever, because the BBB is doing the legwork. And so a lot of times it comes down to a couple things. One time, do people have the time and have the connections and know who they should be asking to make sure that they are insured, to make sure that they are licensed appropriately,
Yes.
to make sure that they have all the information that they should have. They might tell a consumer that they are, and the consumer will either believe them or go look on their own, or you just look for the BBB accreditation logo and it's done for you.
Mhm.
And it's easy and it's online. So it really has to do with that, is that one, we do the work, we do the legwork. But then the second piece of that is that because more consumers are coming from this place of distrust right now, you really got to make sure that you're doing everything you can as a business to make sure that you're following through on your promises, but also making sure that as you market and advertise your business, that you are telling them, I've had a third party, this is what we are, a third party organization that's been doing this for over 100 years, came in and looked, we have 8 standards of trust. They bump up your business practices up against those 8 standards, and you've been approved for this trust mark.
Mhm.
And so that's that other piece that's important for businesses to have, but also consumers, they're looking for it because they just don't trust. And they hear these stories of scams and everything else, and they're more distrustful.
Absolutely. Then we have government. We won't talk about that, though, will we? Yeah. They have a very high trust level. Our government, I'm joking.
I have a question on that. So when you guys, because I talk to business owners all day, every day, and it just seems like their response with BBB sometimes is, oh, well, why would I, spend money and pay to play type of thing? It just seemed like another money to be spent. But
Right.
they're like, why would I, when I have a clean record, I'm okay. I'm getting business. Why should I? So how do you overcome that piece?
Or they
of it?
say we have great Google reviews.
Yes.
So why would I do BBB?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things, and to answer the question, it's all about SEO. And so when you're talking about search engine optimization right now, in order for you to get business, it's still important for you to have, really good SEO and to show up in those Google search results. So the thing about, when you're talking about customer reviews, because that's another question too, is that a lot of times businesses will focus on one. Well, I like Google, or I like Yelp, or I focus on that. I've got all these reviews. And what I'll tell them, number one, you're forgetting about BBB reviews. You want those too. But even if somebody came to me and said, we've got nothing but BBB reviews, it's like, well, get Google too. You want a variety. So you want to make sure that you are distributing those, and you're going to score higher on BBB reviews because of this. This is what's really. So BBB, and here, again, it's all about trust, right? So Google knows that if you go into Google and you type in, and this is what a consumer is going to type in, best business near me, number one business near me, it's those types of things, award winning, all those types of just general search words, then Google's going to give back results. Google's got to vet these businesses before it sends them to consumers, because again, it's all about trust. And if Google's giving you scammy search results, are you going to trust Google?
Exactly.
Probably not.
Yeah.
And so Google understands that BBB is the only business accreditation authority that has we have boots on the ground in every single city for the most part across North America. And we have vetted these individuals. And so a lot of times, myself, me personally, I know a lot of these business owners. If I don't, my team does. If my
Yes.
team doesn't, my board of directors does. Google doesn't know these people. And so that's what's really interesting about this relationship. And so Google understands that if you've got that accredited logo on your website as a business, then they're going to score you higher in Google search results because they know that you're trusted. And so if you're a business and you want more business, which I'm pretty confident any business owner will tell you, yes, we'll take some more. It's about making sure that you've got a strong online presence. Even more so, it's because of COVID, when even people that are some of those holdouts that were like, I'm not going to do that online. Well, now they're online.
Yeah.
And so you want to score higher. So if you've got, if you're trusted, if you can demonstrate, prove the trust, and we get you accredited, and you put that on your website, Google will find you because Google understands that you've been vetted locally. There's a board of directors. It's local business owners. It's businesses vetting other businesses.
Yes.
It's just the cool part about BBB. It's not the government, to your point.
Yes.
It's not a state agency. It's local businesses that are vetting and approving other businesses. And so Google scores those higher because they know that those are real relationships that we've got, and that's what we've got is business relationships.
Yes. And that's huge.
It's
What
huge.
happens
It's
once they're vetted? Do you go back and revet, or because I bumped into some very interesting situations. Someone's fabulous everywhere online, so
Right.
you think, and then all of a sudden they're a money launderer or they're a crook and they steal lots of money or whatever.
Right.
So what do you do with that?
So we do, we revet every 1 to 2 years, depending on the industry that they're in. And so we are going to continually revet them and make sure that they're not doing shady things or
Yes.
sketchy things. The other thing too is that we rely on consumers. We rely on the public.
Yes.
And so we get people all the time that will say, hey, I went to your website and they have an A+ rating. Maybe they're not, they're accredited. But this happened to me. It's like, well, you need to tell me that.
Yes.
I can't don't just assume, that we know that it's happened. Usually if there's a news story or something else, we'll take that information, we'll do some research, we might put it on the website. But again, we have records on, thousands and thousands of businesses just in our area. And so we rely on the public to make sure that we've got up-to-date information of what's going on.
Yeah.
So that's what's really important for consumers, is to know that, one, we're a resource, come check it out. But if you see something or you experience something, it's so important for you to file a complaint or give us a call and let us know, so we can update those files so that the next consumer that comes along has accurate information.
So can you explain a little deeper on that process once someone does a formal complaint? Because that, to me, I always highlight that when I talk about the BBB.
Yeah. So that's a very, very specific process.
Yes.
And so typically what happens, and this is not what's nice about this. So if you're on other websites, and this is just a point of contention for me, we're a nonprofit. That's important for this reason, is that when you are dealing with what we do and our mission is to create a marketplace that, exemplifies trust, right? Buyers and sellers have to trust each other. If businesses are doing shady things and consumers don't trust them, they don't buy, which means your economy tanks, right? But if the sellers trust the business, if you have honest businesses and more business transactions occur and you generate more money for everybody, it's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so for us, what we believe is, we really want to make sure that we're pushing and we're encouraging that. So from a complaint standpoint, things are going to happen, right? And so we get business owners that say, well, I don't want any complaints. And, can you just make this complaint go away? No. First of all, I'm not going to make it go away. But number two, how you respond to that complaint is what's really, really important. Because people nowadays don't trust 5-star reviews just as much as they're not going to trust a 1-star review. Nobody's perfect,
Right.
but I don't want it to be bad either. So if you're in the sweet spot between 4 and 4.25 is what the data tells us,
Okay.
that's usually that sweet spot for people, and so that's what we tell people. If you get the star pack or whatever. But for complaints, consumers are going to read those complaints to see what you said and how you did it. Because maybe it wasn't the business owner, maybe it was one of their employees, maybe it was a bad employee who worked on. Maybe that employee was having a bad day and the business fixed it. That's what consumers want to see. But overall, here's what's different, is that if you're on another site that's a for-profit, those for-profit sites don't have a nonprofit mission like we do. We're always going to pick the mission over margin. And for-profits, they're going to pick that margin over the mission.
Yeah.
And so you might not be getting information that's objective. And so with our complaint process, which is very unique, because you can go online on customer reviews and say whatever you want. As long as you've got multiple email addresses, you can write as many different reviews about a company that you want. With BBB, you can only have one. And because we vet and make sure the person's not anonymous, and we vet to make sure that there was actually a business transaction that occurred. Nobody else is doing this. So I tell my students, all my college students are like, it'd be great. I'm going to start a company that really double checks and make sure that something like this already was a transaction and not just an email address. And it's like, well, it already exists. It does? Yeah. It's called the Better Business Bureau.
Yes.
Like, what? That's the coolest thing. I'm going to check this out, right?
Exactly.
But that's what's important. So that when the complaint comes in, we make sure that a business transaction occurred. It's not an ex-employee, right? Just trying to say bad things, or thank you, mom and dad, who want to say nice things about your
Yeah,
business.
exactly.
Like, this business is great. Really, did you buy something from them? No, but they're amazing. Just go buy stuff. Just trust me. It's like, okay, mom, thank you, but
Yeah.
you can't do that. So the complaint process is it'll depend upon how long it is. It's in the sense of how quickly people get back. But it goes to the business, then it goes to the consumer. The business can respond. The consumer can respond. If we need mediation inside of that, we can do mediation as well,
That's wonderful.
which is a lot easier than going to a small claims court.
Exactly.
And sue somebody.
Right.
Indeed. But I thought I heard you mention there were 8 factors that went into the vetting process at BBB. Can you tell us what those 8 things are? How you?
Yes, this is the secret sauce.
Secret
And
sauce.
I'll tell you right now, it's on the internet for free. But seriously, so these are our 8 gainers of trust. And here's just a few. Like honor promises, right? Embody integrity. Make sure that you are publishing and putting out there, and this is the long version of this.
Yeah.
Your contracts, make sure that they are accessible and readable. Make sure that you're going over those with your people all the time. Make sure that you're protecting your information. Safeguard privacy is one of our standards. So you're not just pushing the stuff out there, or your cybersecurity. You're paying attention to that. So it's all about trust and ethics and integrity. But here's what I'll tell you about these 8 standards of trust is that after 100 years, this is what we've learned at the Better Business Bureau. These 8 things are what embodies a great business. This is what a trustworthy business looks like, but it's also what a great business looks like, which means even if you're not accredited, you can go look at those 8 standards.
Right.
And if you are doing those 8 standards of trust in your business right now today, you're going to make money and you're going to be successful. If you're not, number one, you're going to qualify for accreditation. We get a lot of people that come to us and say, hey, I want to be accredited with you. And it's like, well, I'm sorry, you're not there yet. Keep working. But even if you weren't accredited and you still used and applied those 8 standards to your business, you're going to be successful. And so that's what we've learned after 100 years of that is the secret sauce, the secret recipe of what it takes to be successful and get your accreditation. But my recommendation to everybody is to do both. I mean, one, do it. But the second time, if you already are doing it, if you're the best in your industry, what you do, and you're trustworthy and honest, you need to be accredited because we want the best of the best in that B2B accreditation category. And that's where people look at that. They pay attention to who's accredited and they want to buy from only the best typically.
Yeah. So we really want to really encourage you to go to the BBB website, look at those 8 points of trust and see how your business measures up on those as well. Obviously, we want you to become an accredited person at BBB as well. But what a great starting point for all of us in business here that are doing it. And thank you for that. I just wanted to mention that we have Jonathan Lieber, CEO from the BBB, on the Be Encouraged show with Frank and Lisa today. And he is just really informing us at a very, very inspirational level. I'll say that today about business. Isn't this so interesting,
Yes,
Lisa? I mean, oh my word.
Well, I geek out on the vetting process anyway. I mean, I literally built this whole business on behalf of the public at large so that they could know, oh my gosh, there are good companies out there. I've had friends who, landscaper comes in, takes 0.25% of the bill and then leaves and doesn't do the job. I mean, the stuff like that where and they look great online but they're not great. Or they're going on the 411 with a 719 and they're, offering their cousin Vinny to do the painting. And well, okay, who's Vinny and is he legit?
He's legit. Wow. So this is a very awesome marriage of 2 organizations today. InnovateSuccess.com and Lisa Sennett and the great Jonathan Lieber from the BBB are having a conversation, and I get to sit in today. So this is really, really cool.
We're just soaking up your aura.
The aura.
Mr. Sinclair's aura.
Mr. Sinclair, yeah. So Jonathan, geez, I don't know. I went down when you guys began the social impact portion here in the city. What happened to the young lady that was working with you there?
Be Stacy Burns.
Yeah, Stacy Burns. She's still working with you?
She still is.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
she's my co-founder, so the 2 of us are still doing this work and working outside of Colorado now.
Okay.
So we've got business outside of the state, which is exciting.
Wow.
Yeah.
So are all states have a Institute for Social Impact, or
So they do not.
where are they?
So states are all over. And I
Okay.
would say that, each place is just in a different area. Sometimes you might have a chamber of commerce, do some of the work that we're doing. Sometimes it's a standalone. Sometimes it's a university that does some of the work that we're doing. So it does need to be more formalized.
Mhm.
And I think that we'll see a lot more formalization of this sector because it's a new sector of the economy because of this interesting data that I want to share with you now. So this is something that every business owner needs to know. And again, I said already that business is changing, it's evolving. So since the 70s, there have been measurements about what's the number one consumer, right? And so I think we all know the number one consumer since forever, it's never changed, has been a value-driven consumer, right? I want the best quality product for the best price. And usually cheaper is better as long as it's good.
Mhm.
Well, it's changed. It's never changed before. This happened last year for the first time ever. So usually they've been measuring 3 different consumers. They've measured the value-driven consumer, a brand-driven consumer, and a product-driven consumer. So in 2020, they said, maybe just for fun, I don't know, let's add a 4th one because we're aware that consumers are becoming more conscious of where they spend their money.
Yeah.
So they added a 4th consumer to the mix, and it's called a purpose-driven consumer. And they were surprised in 2020 to see that it almost grabbed as much market share as a value-driven consumer when they measured that, when they threw it out there. So officially last year, though, because it's like, well, someday, 5 years, 10 years, who knows when this happened for the first time, but it's already happened. The number one consumer, not only in the United States, but also the world, is a purpose-driven consumer. So purpose-driven consumers have 44% of the market. The value-driven consumer has 37%. And so what I tell businesses is that you have to concentrate on both of those. Don't just pick one or the other. You got to do both. Most businesses are focused on the value-driven consumer. It's only 37% of the market. And if you want to get more business, and oh, by the way, attract and retain top talent to come work for you, you better think about having some kind of higher purpose built into your mission. Because this is what I'm hearing from business owners is that, yeah, I need to make money, but I can't get anybody to work for me. Well, the people that have no issues with the workforce are the businesses that have a higher purpose. They never had an issue with retention or recruitment.
Can you give an example of that? The purpose?
The purpose?
Yeah.
So I think that, and again, depending on the community, you want to pick something that is actually community relevant. And so in our town specifically, if you've got something to do with veterans, at-risk youth, suicidality, those types of things, there's a lot of stuff out there that you can really do to help. And so I'll give you an example. There's a great place here in town called Inherent Clothiers.
Yes.
And they're on 123. 123. And they do custom menswear. But what's great about what they're doing is that they're trying to help bring information and awareness to men's suicide rates that have just gone through the roof. And by the way, this is men that are typically, experiencing homelessness. These are men with careers.
Yep.
These are men with good jobs and with families.
Yep.
And because of
High
stress,
earners.
high earners.
Yeah.
So, you're seeing, from a 30, I think it's 35 to 55 category, are some of that category specifically is some of the high suicide rates we're experiencing around the nation. So they're trying to bring awareness through that. And so that's something that was near and dear to the founder. His name was Taylor Drake. He also wanted to own this business. So he combined the two. And so I think that's, because I think a lot of times people believe that in order to do good, in order to make money, you got to have a business. And now because business is evolving, those rules are changing. You can do both of those things in one organization.
Woo!
Yeah.
I just love that. Is good stuff.
Yes.
You can't get excited about that.
Right.
And you were mentioning, I think value-driven organizations, we're all to some degree value-driven, but it's more self-explanatory than purpose-driven. So help unwrap that for us a little bit and make it very clear to people what purpose-driven consumers are.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think what we've seen historically from business in the value-driven, would be more like CSR standpoint, right? That's been around much, much longer. So corporate social responsibility has been around since the 60s. Social impact, like 1995, right? So this CSR stuff's been around, which is more the values thing that you're talking about. The best example I can give is that, businesses they're kind of on the path to this social impact, right? So if you're a business that has more values driven, you're probably going to donate to charity. You're probably going to give money to causes. You're going to serve on a board. You're going to volunteer and be active in your community, and your business is going to be active with you. I think that's a really good example of kind of that value alignment. You're going to align with doing good things in your community for your community and the businesses involved. If you are a higher purpose business or a social impact business, it's in your DNA. I'll give you this example. I like to give this example. So if you're Nike, they're doing a lot of really good things around sustainability, around transparency, around an authentic brand. But at the end of the day, all of that stuff is really geared toward they're there to make money. Yeah, which is fine. We live in a free market society, but they're there to make money. So usually CSR it's a marketing add-on to your core business strategy of making money. But if you're Patagonia, who's in business to solve, even for them it's environmental issues, it's more sustainability. There's not anything you can cut, or it's baked in. It's a literal part of the strategy of the DNA of their business model. And so I think that's the difference, right? There's a company where that's why they exist versus we have some extra money, and so we're going to give some of that away and donate it. which is great, but
Yeah.
it's the beginning of the process.
Well, I'll give a live example for Patagonia. My daughter, who at the time had just college age, her friend got hired on from Patagonia. They put him all in their garb, and he's a huge 14er.
Mhm.
So he had the best time making it up, to wherever he needed to hike to, and taking the pictures and the selfies and stuff with Patagonia.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, it was a give back. It shifted his life, right? And he's looking cool and, making money and doing what he loves to do. But at the same time, I love what they did for the youth.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Patagonia, when you think about social impact, they the first company that comes to mind nationally. Wouldn't you agree?
One of them for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do some good stuff.
Yeah, it's just some really, really, really. 'Cause I'm thinking about this. I'm probably more of a values business than a purpose business, right?
Mhm.
My own business
Mhm.
personally, because I'm the guy that is, I serve on 4 boards of directors and out doing things in my community. And we want to be clear. Both of these are great spaces to
Mhm.
be
Absolutely.
in, right?
Yes.
And some you just aren't going to have it woven into the DNA of their mission and purpose of being to be a purpose-driven. So don't feel bad if you're not.
Absolutely.
Please add value to our community.
Yes.
Right.
No,
Serve.
and I think that's a great
humans.
point. Frank.
Yes.
I mean, we need everybody needs to step up. If you want to
Yes.
change the needle,
Yeah.
everybody needs to step up, but do it in your own way, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so you can add value in a lot of different ways. There's just now a strategic business framework to do it, should you choose. But I will tell you all of this: it's harder.
Mm,
It's much
Oh,
harder.
yeah.
And so you got to think of it this way: is that in any business, you have one bottom line or one piece of that, and that's your bottom line, right?
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that you're making money, making profit. Now we're seeing double bottom line businesses and triple bottom line businesses. So a double bottom line business is a business that is there to make money, but also serve some kind of mission, right? You can consider even a nonprofit a business, and they're a double bottom line business. So you got to make money and do good. That's hard.
Yeah.
If you're going to be a social impact business, you have a triple bottom line. You got to make money, serve a higher purpose, and you got to track your data and report back to the community that you actually did what you said you were going to do. To be honest and transparent with them, and hopefully it works. That's really, really hard to do.
Woo.
So
How do they do that? Like, what's an example? Do they do it on their website or?
So there's a couple different ways to do it. Some people will just track, so there's another, good example of, James Proby at the Men's Exchange.
Yes.
Um,
He's awesome.
He's awesome. And so for him, every, ninth suit that somebody in the community buys, he's donating one to somebody unique. And so that's a really easy way for the community to know and see how many suits has he donated and what is he doing with that, who's he trying to provide value to. So I think that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is very sophisticated, and this is a cool new way of doing things, but it's also harder to do. It's called social return on investment, so SROI. So much like an ROI, your return on investment, how much money did you make? An SROI is what is the impact that you create? What was it? And so this is an economic way of measuring the impact of a business or a nonprofit to determine whether or not the issue that they picked and how they chose to kind of go after it, if it actually worked. So the National Institute for Social Impact is one of the few businesses right now in the United States that can actually measure that impact. So it's very specific. I mean, it's to a dollar. Receive this, they're able to say, for every dollar spend with us or dollar that you donate, is going to be for a profit or not, we're able to return $2.63, $3.41 back to the community for whatever issue you're trying to solve. So it's that precise. And so what it is you're able to tell the people that you serve in the community, every time you buy something from me, I'm returning this back to the community in these 3 to 5 different ways of how I'm serving and what I'm focusing on. So it's very precise. And so, and I always tell people, if it's just, a weekly, blast on social media of your impact, do it. If it's a chalkboard in your business, in your store, do it.
Yeah.
If it's as sophisticated as an SROI, if you have the means, do it. But either way, businesses should communicate back the good that they're doing. And I have a lot of businesses tell me, well, John, that's all nice and all, but I don't want to brag.
I know.
There's a
That
time
makes
to be
me-
humble and not.
Exactly.
But it has nothing to do with humility.
Right, I know.
It
But they
really
think
doesn't.
it does though.
Where people think it does.
Yeah.
Humility is an internal job. Because if you see someone that's arrogant, No one has to tell you. You
No.
want to just stick your finger down the back of your throat.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Exactly.
We know who they
Oh,
are.
totally.
Right. Yeah. We need to know these things. So you need to communicate the good that you do. What it does is inspire other people
Yes.
to do good and et cetera. So, oh, I can participate. Look what they're doing. And it starts conversations in community that are really, really so needed, because I don't hear these conversations. Maybe I'm running in the wrong places and et cetera, but outcomes I don't hear about.
Right.
John.
Right. Exactly. So you need to do. It's easy to talk about the good that you do, and that. But what we're seeing now, and the research is backing this up too, that consumers are absolutely, they want to see more, but they're also going to check. They're going to double check. So
Yeah.
you said this a year ago.
Yeah.
I'm going to go look for it now.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have anything? Now we got a problem. Oh, by the way, I'm going to tell everybody on social media.
Exactly.
We got
Yeah.
a problem.
Oh, yeah.
So I do think you're going to see more, because during the pandemic, a lot of businesses talked about doing more, and some of them did it, some of them didn't. And now you've got you've heard of greenwashing, people that say they're doing good things for the environment and they may not be.
Yeah.
Well, now there's purpose washing, now there's cause washing.
Wow.
So people are lying about the good work that they're doing. Consumers are not standing for it because they're double checking.
Yeah.
And you're going to see that's this year we're anticipating is going to be people were doing it, they were doing great, they kind of stopped doing it. Consumers have noticed, trust has dipped a little bit,
Mhm.
and now people are going to call them out. So you're gonna, in 2023, that's where you're going to see back up, where consumers call out companies that said they're doing good things. They either stop saying it, or they, you're right, we're sorry, we need to publish a report, or we need to do better at how we're reporting information out to you.
Wow.
So you got to be authentic, and you got to be able to back it up.
Yeah, with COVID, how did that impact the upward trend of social impact, or how did it impact it
That's a great question.
totally?
So when I was chatting with Stacy, my co-founder, at the beginning of this, right? So April 2020, right? And I told her, I said, this is going to be interesting for a variety of reasons.
Yes.
But specifically for social impact, I said, this is going to be a test, not just a test, this is going to be an acid test of how this is going to go. Because I think the nation has two choices, two options, right? So if we're going to hit this weird economic time, as we know, back then in 2020, something was going to happen economically speaking. Businesses are going to have a choice. And the choice is going to be abandon this stuff, right? Because sometimes this nice stuff that doing good costs more money.
Yeah.
We're going to abandon this, and jobs are on the line, my business is on the line. I'm going to focus on profit and profit only. I said people are going to choose that,
Mhm.
or they're going to double down on the social impact stuff.
Yeah.
And Stacey and I were like, this is going to be, it's either going to live or it's going to die.
Yeah.
This is the test right here.
Yes.
And what we found out really quickly was that when you are in uncertain times, you don't know what to do. If your North Star is just profit, that's not enough. If you can't make good business decisions, I just want to make the most money. If your North Star is some kind of higher purpose, if it's about community, if it's about veterans, if it's about serving, whoever, that North Star guides you. So for businesses that had a higher purpose, number one, that North Star guided them and they made different decisions. And people started paying attention on the news, hit social media. This person didn't lay out their workforce. This person is paying more money to people to come in to serve. This person is donating to charities. This person is giving meals away to first responders.
Yeah.
And the healthcare people, the good, lifted everybody up.
So awesome.
And so that's what we saw from the pandemic. Is this fire was already burning. This just poured some gasoline on it, and we've accelerated this whole process. I would say where we're at right now, I expected us to be at in the next 5 to 6 years. So we've kind of accelerated that.
Accelerated. Yeah. So what was millennials are known for somewhat spearheading the purpose, purpose-driven space that you're talking about. What was the seminal moment or thing in history that caused our young people to go, oh my God, I am so tired of it being just and et cetera. I want to do something good. I want to leave a legacy. I want to, what happened?
So there's about 10 different things
Yeah.
that happened, and I'll tell you about a couple of those. But
I love that he has the answer. So fun. We brought the brainiac.
I try. But I'll give you an anecdotal answer to start, because I think this is really telling. This is the value of being, a professor for students and young people. When I had millennials, now I've got Gen Zs in. That's another conversation.
Yep.
I asked my millennial students, say now, and I have tell them at the beginning of each semester, all right, so I'm going to teach you, but here's, the trade-off. It's like, I'm going to do some quick focus groups every class. I have a question and I need your help. So I asked some questions. This is one of the questions I asked. And they had a lot of different answers, but the one that came up and popped up the most, and I'm paraphrasing, was this. And it was simply, I looked at my parents and I saw how miserable they were with work.
Yes. Yep.
And I didn't want to be like that. And we have this thing in the United States, primarily, it's a Western thing, of we live to work, not the other way around.
Yeah, we don't
And
work
so-
to live.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
And that's where, these young people were like, why would I want to do that? But my
Exactly.
parents were miserable. They worked for a company that didn't appreciate them, didn't care usually. They were just live for the weekends. And I didn't want to do that. I want to go work for a nonprofit. Oh, wait a second. I'm not going to get paid enough.
Yes,
unfortunately, to
exactly.
go do that good work.
They all
right?
want to be paid like
They
double.
wanna-
or
Yeah,
triple.
exactly.
That's
They want to make
the
some
other
money.
side.
And so they started to ask different questions, and they started asking different questions of companies, and started buying things differently. I mean, really, it kind of started around the 2008 recession. And I think as a country, hopefully we learned a valuable lesson that, again, pursuing profit purely for profit's sake is not sustainable. It's not.
Right.
And that's what happened.
Yeah.
And we almost learned the really, really hard way, on that one. And so that, I think, got people thinking differently about that. I think that also, when you're looking at millennials and Gen Z, here's the statistics on this. This is fascinating. So when you talk to millennials and you ask them about the future of business, it's companies should no longer just exist to make a profit. They should make money, make a profit, and serve the community. So millennials believe in those two things to the tune of 75%. So 75% of millennials believe that.
Get 75% of people to believe in anything.
Anything.
Yes.
And so then you look at the Gen Zs, it's
Yeah.
90%.
Oh my.
So you're looking at two different generations that are both stating that they want more out of business. Oh, by the way, their employer. So they want to buy from companies that are doing this, and they want to work for companies that are doing this.
Mhm.
And so what I tell businesses is that maybe not tomorrow, but in 3 to 5 years, this is the future of business. The train's left the station.
Yep.
Like it's going.
Get on board.
Get on
Yeah.
board. Yep.
And you can see it, 'cause I'm a father of 3 millennials myself. And quite frankly, in total transparency, our home life affected the way the atmosphere and the environment of the home was, because work was it and not being available for the children in very, very important times in their lives and et cetera. So all of this drilled down. See, this is why pain is always leveraged for good,
Right.
Yes.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. Jonathan, I always wanted to ask you this question, my friend, and I've known you for a number of years now. But what creates the excitement? Why do you do this?
Yeah.
What was Jonathan Liebert? You're a brilliant guy,
Yes.
right? And there's thousands of things you could possibly be doing. You're doing this 7 years at the BBB now,
Yeah.
starting a social impact enterprise. What drives Jonathan Liebert?
That's a really good question. I appreciate you asking that. And I think it has to do with two things. I think one, it's just my DNA, right? We all have a DNA for something, right? It's what's your purpose?
Exactly.
And if we're fortunate enough to find out what our purpose is, some people are still struggling with that, still looking. But a lot of times, people know what it is that makes them happy, what they do, and it drives them to do more. And I think mixing business, with this higher purpose and this mission of doing good, I mean, that excites me. It found me, right? And I think the second piece is works. And, I'll give you an example. So before I worked at BBB, I worked for another company called Aspen Point. Now they're Diversus.
Yes,
Behavioral
yeah,
Health.
yeah.
So in another life, I was a therapist, a
Oh, were you?
psychologist.
Oh, wow.
And here's what was interesting about that, because at the time we didn't know what this was called. And so my job over there was to get people with significant and serious behavioral health issues a job. And so I would go and I'd ask a business owner to please employ this individual with severe, persistent, disabilities in some cases. And sometimes they would do it. And we did services, we did a good job, but that's a hard sell
Oh, yeah.
to an employer. And so what we figured out was, well, what if we started our own company that we own, and then we employed people with disabilities to come work for us?
Yes.
And so that was a novel idea at the
Yes.
time, right? And so we'd run around town telling people we're this weird nonprofit. Weird meaning that we're in business to make money. The more money that we make, we use it to hire people, and the more jobs we can create, the more we'll help people that have disabilities. Because what we found was is the people that were mentally ill got better quicker and stayed healthier longer if they had a job. And what we found, it was purpose.
Yes.
Exactly. It was about that. So even if they volunteered, they still got better. And it was interesting. I'll never forget this. So we're sitting there because whenever I had questions, instead of going to talk to my therapist, friends, I'd go talk to the people that we served, right? Nothing about us without us was something we talked about in the field. And in our business, because at this point we had a construction line, we had a food service line, we had our own garden, we were growing our own food for the cafe. We had all these businesses. We're doing all these things, but it's like, are we in the business of construction? Are we in the business of GED and job development? Like, what are we doing? And I'll never forget that the people that we served are like, well, that's really easy, Jonathan. We know what business you're in, and you're the guy with the degree. How come you haven't figured it out? I'm like, that's why I'm asking all of you.
That's why we're paying you, man.
I know. I'm like, you're the ones with
Yeah.
this, experience of what we're doing for you. Like, what do you think it is for you? And I'm like, that's easy. Jonathan, you are in the business of providing hope. That's what you do, and that's why we're here, because we believe in the work that you're doing to help give us purpose. And so for me, at the end of the day, it's like, I want to be in the business of giving hope. Right?
That's really good.
That's what gets me
Yes.
excited. I was going to say,
Yeah.
there's some kindred
Yes,
spirits here
there
at the
is.
table today.
Oh, yeah.
We're the hope
Same
givers.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
But it's needed
That's
now more than ever.
It is needed.
Oh, my.
Yes.
And
very
it's
much so.
it's gonna continue to exponentially get more needed. We won't even go into world events and what we're looking at, the pressures of life, etc., that's happening right now at home and abroad. It is incredibly hopeless in a lot of places, Jonathan. Thank you for what you do.
No, thank you, and thank you for each of you for what you're doing, because I think spreading this message out there is important and letting people know you can do things differently.
Do you have a resource that you can give to people if they want to learn more and do a deep dive on what you were talking about?
Social impact.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the social.
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely. So there's a great website that there's to go to. So there's the Institute website. So it's NI4 for fourthsector.org. So they can check that out. There's a lot of great books and reading materials that they can read. There's information, testimonials. There's a whole bunch of good stuff online there. But then the other thing too is something that we started for BBBs. We started something new called BBB for Good. So this is a way that businesses can earn a different trust mark.
Ooh, cool.
If you're doing good things in business and that you're doing good things for your community, then that's a whole other thing. And that's BBB4, good.org. And we talk about 8 standards for what it means to be a business. We have 17 new standards
Oh my.
for what it means to be a business that brings higher purpose to a community.
Yes.
Because guess what consumers are asking BBB now? I want to find a business I can trust, because everybody now says they're doing something good.
They
Yeah.
do.
They do.
Yeah.
Which ones do I believe? Which ones do I trust?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we have a new trust mark that we're getting out there, so that businesses that are doing good work have that trust mark, and so they have to do any digging, and they'll know that business is saying if they give away $1 million to charity, or they plant a tree, or they give away a suit, anything like that, it's a circular seal. It's the first new trust mark each created in 25 years.
Wow.
And guess where it came from? Colorado Springs.
Right here.
It's launched
You know why?
nationally. I know a guy. I
Yeah.
know a guy.
Not only do you know a guy, no,
You are the guy.
well, I don't think that is beyond. I really believe in my mind and my heart that this is the space that you and Stacy have created that's created the number one resource for social impact, education, understanding, and implementation in America.
Yeah.
Thank you. I
Yes.
appreciate that. That's what we're
Yes.
trying. That's the goal. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is the
Incredible.
goal. It is incredible. They have classes, etc. Tell people how to reach you. instead of me trying to.
Certainly, they can reach out through the website. There's contact us on there, but the best way to get hold of me is just Jonathan at ni4si.org or Jonathan L at bbbsc for Southern Colorado.org. Just shoot me an email. You can go on either one of those websites, and just do the contact us, and we'll send you some information. But this is such a great community for this. This community has been very supportive, very receptive, and they believe in it. And I think we should all be encouraged that businesses are trying to do more with what they do and trying to create more impact on communities. So it should be about.
Absolutely. You have any parting words, Ms. Sennett?
Well, no, but I would also like to thank you so much for everything you guys are doing in the city. Is amazing, and it's truly where I started my business model was and cleaning from you guys, because you guys are trusted and you're very thorough, and I think it's incredible.
Yes. Yeah, Colorado Springs, Front Range region and beyond. You've been listening to the Be Encouraged show with Frank and Lisa. We've had incredible Jonathan Liebert on with us today from the BBB and Institute for Social Impact and professor at CU, Colorado Springs as well. Thank you, Jonathan, for your time.
Well, thank you very much for having me, and appreciate both of you as well.
Indeed. We'll be back with another show in just a little bit. We know that we've infused hope and encouragement in our community today through this show, and that's what we attempt to do in every show. But this was very, very helpful. And if you have any feedback, let Lisa or I know, or give a call at Family Flavors the Slide, 719-300-7936. We'll be right back. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. You too. Appreciate
Oh,
it.
man. That was awesome.
Was that too?
That was fun. That was fun.
Yeah.
Do you mind if we take a couple action
Totally.
pictures?
Yeah. Can you get us a sit down here, young lady? Oh, young man.
Just scoot in.
Yeah, if you want to scoot it that way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Leave Lisa in the middle here.
Perfect. All right, 3, 2, 1. We do one more. 3, 2, 1.
All right, give us one standing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oops.
I only drink water.
Yeah, tell us anything.
Perfect. All right. 3, 2, 1. All right, one more. 3, 2, 1. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
Absolutely.
I'll send them to you.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Still trying to get used to you.
Send us the link. I'll post it on the Institute's webpage. Thank you so much. Good to see you guys.
Appreciate
You as well. Thanks for the invitation. We got to catch up on the
We
Fun
do.
Radio show. We got to hang out in person.
I know, right? Are you going for the best dressed thing?
Yeah.
I'll see you.
Competition of best dressed. Where's this?
Look, the calendar that came out, best dressed men in
Oh,
Colorado.
yeah.
Yeah. Both me and I were in it.
Okay. There's an event where you guys get a model.
Yeah.
Well, not all the guys know each other.
Yeah.
Oh,
women
that's
so.
Cool.
Yeah. She was.
No, I wasn't. I was just curious. I would sneak in if I could. Frank knows. Right.
That was on Facebook, that's YouTube, and then that's all the clips that we're trying to use. Yeah. Really just
Okay, cool. So we're gonna have 6 people total here now.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how you're gonna.
Me neither.
That's what I'm asking. I'm gonna readjust real quick. Hello. Hi. How are you? Good. Good to see you. We found it. Yay. We're gonna set up real quick. Okay. Since there's like
They're going
6
from one
of us.
person to 4, right? So we're gonna be tied. Hope you
Yeah.
guys like each other.
Yep. Bring it in.
He said, "Time." We can also do a high seat if you want. Like,
Do a what?
Maybe sit next to you, maybe.
Oh, yeah, maybe we'll have Charlie.
Like on this other side, maybe, I don't know.
No, we
Yeah, we'll
want
get you a high seat.
Come on, we'll get you the high chair. Next to my beautiful wife. High
Can I
chair.
have my spoon today?
Oh my goodness.
Right here,
Yeah, that's good.
my chair here.
I think we're going short there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they mentioned to Carol.
So you get a high seat.
Okay, so
We'll
we'll
put
put
Marissa and Charlie here. Are you okay? Jen?
Tell us about
Just
this.
this one chair.
You get used to
He loves
something.
his mic.
Yeah.
I'm cutting it
Territorial about it.
Okay, where am I
So
sitting
you're
now,
here,
Lisa?
you're here, and then I'm here, and then two more here.
Yeah.
Really
So
good
Charlie,
screen
yep.
story. Right, screen story. If they're sensitive about which one.
You wanna go back?
Yes. So which one's Penelope?
Me.
Penelope, hi, I'm Lisa. Good to meet you.
I'm Carol.
Hi, Carol. Good
Oh.
name. That's my aunt's name. My sister's middle name.
You have any? Can I take those? I got a little headache.
How is your sister?
Where's my
How is
sister?
she?
Oh, how is
I
she?
saw her for like a second at the chamber breakfast, but we had to split and Leanne didn't get to say, hey.
Sage, are we gonna activate this mic too
Yeah, I'm
for
gonna
her?
go.
Okay, cool. So that'll be your mic. You pull that in closer.
Are we sharing a mic? Are we sharing a mic?
You're sharing with me.
You're sharing with me.
He doesn't- He's
You
not
just
supposed to
push
be
it
part
up-
of this
just
show.
push it up to him.
I'm just.
Or just don't let him be a part. I don't
He's not
care. That's
supposed
up
to
to
be
you
part
guys.
of it.
We want to make it. I love Charlie. There's no way I can not have him. Like,
Listen to her.
But you're not sharing my business, so you talk about your own thing.
yes.
I'll get rid of all those posts.
Same thing, right?
Yes, Earl.
Yeah.
Without the S.
Yeah.
Kim Searles.
Oh, that's right. You're
Lisa
Yeah,
Searles.
she spelled her name. You
Penelope.
were so-
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you got them all? Oh, thanks, you did. I do. Thanks very
Thank
much.
you.
Everybody's situated, awesome, beautiful.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
We're
Let's
ready.
rock and roll. I don't know who you guys are. I think she has she's got this mission of trying to, because everyone sees and say, oh, everyone knows you, right? All right, so she's on a mission to make sure she finds everyone that doesn't know.
Just from out of our
Yeah, it amuses me to do that. He doesn't understand it, but we're going with it.
It's just stuck on a lot of cords.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's all kind of
Just a
crashing
smidge.
down.
Oh, my spirit.
That's what's weighing it down.
Oh, all that? Okay, that should be fine. I don't have a boisterous, loud voice. I should probably get a, Charlie, I can't see you.
You're lost.
I'll get my hug in a minute.
What's your mic number?
My mic number 4.
And we're gonna start.
That's not even- We're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I have
That's
no
all right.
Oh,
idea.
it goes by.
We
real
don't
quick.
do any crap.
No.
Takes
See,
it
we were talking
away.
about how it
If
scares
You're
it's
us.
very
not
good
organic
choice.
and
You're
generic.
It scares us introverts, but we're like, wait, we didn't get to plan.
Are you all
The
introverted?
plan is
No,
no
you're
plan.
You're both? Okay. I'm an ambivert.
Yeah.
Nice. Yep.
I don't think I've ever heard that before.
It's a
She has
thing.
made it
Those
up.
both.
That's like, that's above an extra. That's like the next level over
No,
an
these
extra.
should go both ways.
It's just. Is that okay?
We thought she had something special about her.
You're special, ambivert. You.
Well,
And I'm
it's
gonna have
a
to use-
chameleon.
I'm gonna use that on the
Blends
radio
cultures.
now.
You don't blend, girl. You stand out. There is a huge difference.
This is Frank's favorite song.
Stop it.
You gonna open up by singing to it?
No.
He does sometimes. Not today. He's a headache. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
I think it's suffocating for me.
Yeah, John. Lisa's been lying to you.
No, he,
I'm not lying to
Here we
you.
go.
Yes.
Well, good morning, everyone. We're live now. Studio this morning is because Lisa Sennett has brought a group of fun lovers into the studio.
yes.
Isn't that fun? You are on the Be Encouraged show with Frank and Lisa on Motivation Monday. We are so glad that you would be a part of our studio this morning. And as always, I got to make sure that I twist my head because I know people are looking, wondering, what am I doing? I can't remember all this crap. So, I mean, stuff, good stuff. It's not crap.
Good stuff.
It's not crap. Is it?
Right, no.
No, it isn't.
It's fun
Right.
stuff coming
Right.
up.
We're here at Family Flavors of Slide, and we have the great Christopher Roberts doing live YouTube and live Facebook for us at the same time as we're here to infuse hope and encouragement in our community with the people that we talk to. Don't forget, Homeless Not Hopeless here at Family Flavors of Slide on March 22nd. Give them a call at 719-300-7936. And May 6th is Macaroni Kid, free to the public. UC Health Park also be a part of that. And they got a lot of other great things coming here at Family Flavors of Slide, a nonprofit internet radio station that is bringing. What's up with you?
Hey, Frank. Good afternoon, everybody. Lisa Sennett with InnovateSuccess.com. Why should you care? I actually help families for free get connected to reputable vetted services locally here in Colorado Springs.
She does. And we just had Jonathan Liebert from the BBB on the show last hour. And Lisa just had, she was geeking out, that dude on
loved
this
it.
show. Yeah. So we have 4 great guests on the show today, Lisa.
Yes,
As
we
always,
do.
you do such a wonderful job of bringing great human beings from our community into the program to talk to us. Why don't you help us introduce them?
Absolutely. Well, we have the famous Charlie Searle, of course,
He
is in
is
the house.
famous.
That's all he gets.
That's all you get. Yeah. So, just a little backdrop for those of you who are listening who may not know this awesome human.
The 3 of you.
Yeah. He is the chief agitator at Ashtones, which is an amazing local band. Publisher with Monument Living Magazine.
Co-publisher.
Co-publisher. And the meat mover at the Searle Ranch Fed Beef.
Wait a minute.
It's
You call yourself the meat mover?
yes, with
That doesn't
OO.
have
I love it.
2 O's that meant
Mover.
mover.
The cows,
All
A
right.
little bit
beef,
cheesy along with the
grass
beef.
fed. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
be-
fits him
You have to have
perfectly.
cheese, yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
This is a
And
PG
some-
show.
and some corn.
I'm just saying. I don't like people coming in and saying they're moving meat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
cows specifically. Grass
Hey, you know,
fed.
nobody else went there.
Only
Yeah,
him.
Till today.
It's Frank. One of a kind. We all know this. And then we have, of course, his lovely bride, Marissa Searle, is in
Brains of
the
the
house.
operation.
Yes, the
Not
And
brains
the looks.
and the beauty. Just
Brain
saying.
and the beauty.
And
It's got my back.
totally. So yeah, Marissa's also a co-publisher at Monument Living Magazine and Purple Mountain Publishing LLC. She's an herbalist and student esthetician at Lavender and Time. I was okay. Holistic Skin Therapy. We're super excited to hear about your grand opening and how all that went the other day out in Black Forest. And then we have Miss Penelope Person in the house. I'm really curious about the cacao ceremonies. And she
The
teaches
what
yoga.
ceremony?
Cacao. It's chocolate.
It's like
Like
mamma
chocolate.
mia.
Chocolate.
Mamma mia.
Chocolate ceremony.
That means I'm
magical.
cacao.
No.
You are
Right.
correct.
Yes,
You
you're
are there.
cacao. As a man.
You should have had a ceremony
Yes,
today.
where's the cacao? Oh my God. I couldn't wait to hold the conversation about this. We will do a deep dive on that.
Mamma comes
Experience.
from cacao.
Yes.
Wow.
Holistic chocolate ceremonies. Okay. And then, of course, Miss Carol, essentially unbridled. She's a yoga teacher and a sound vibrational practitioner.
She's
Yes.
magical.
Awesome. And that's the bowls, right?
Mhm.
Love that.
And tuning forks.
Tuning forks.
Yes.
Do you use that on the bowls?
Nope, they're separate. Bowls and forks. I have everything to do the meat.
Bowls and forks. You want to put meat in those expensive bowls.
No.
That's what they're meant for. But
Pricey bowls.
I'll let you lead these
Okay.
questions.
Are you speechless?
I don't even know if I want to.
You're not sure.
Engage.
No.
Oh my
That's
God.
awesome. Okay, well let's start with Marissa. So please share, you have been on an incredible journey this year and both learning in school as well as starting your own brick and mortar business.
Oh my.
I mean, how exciting.
It has been exciting and a little nerve wracking because it happened within like a month. It happened real quick. It was November and then I signed up for school, started December, saw that this building was for rent, signed the lease, and they're like, oh, hey, we're going to have you come in next month. And I was like, I'm not even done with school yet.
Wow.
But it's been something that I've been dreaming about for 10 years in this
Yes.
exact spot. And so when an opportunity comes up, you kind of take it.
There you
So
go.
tell us
Yeah.
about that, how you got the location.
So I've lived in Black Forest for 11 years. And the first time that I stepped foot in the forest, I knew I wanted to have an apothecary out there.
Mm.
And I knew I wanted it in those buildings. And so I mean, it's downtown Black Forest, which is all of a block.
Yes. One block. Literally.
One block of the downtown
It's
Black
so
Forest. So you really have like 5 options, right? Of places to have a business in Black
Well,
Forest.
well.
We are in downtown Black Forest.
Yes.
Not greater
She's in
Black
the hub.
Forest, it's downtown.
It's
Yeah.
downtown.
Yes, it is
Really?
legit. This
That's
cabin,
legit.
It is legit. And the cabin was built in 1950. So
Ah.
it's like all of maybe 750 square feet. But I have it separated. So I've got my apothecary and I've been formulating products for about 10 years. And so using herbs and oils and butters and all that stuff. And so it kind of I put all of my education together. And then soon we'll be offering the aesthetic services. So, holistic botanical based skincare.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What's an apothecary for people that don't know?
So back in the day, it used to be where you go to get your medications.
Hmm.
And they used to use things like what we consider illegal drugs now. Like
Hmm.
if you have a cold, they would give you some pretty deadly things to get rid of that cold. And then it evolved to where you could go to get herbs. And I'm not talking the herbs like you guys have across the street. I'm talking like
What's across the street?
Lavender.
Are you talking about a marijuana?
You talking
patient?
marijuana?
I'm like, what are
herbalist.
I haven't seen any gardens.
I'm looking across the street.
Not
wondering-
that
We're on plaque.
You guys have been here how long and you don't know what's around you?
No.
Well, no, we're busy. I mean, we zip in and out.
We come here, we're focused. We have a purpose when we come
Yeah,
here.
well, you guys smell it here, so you're good. But... Uh-oh. They're both turning red right now.
Charlie's dying to say something, I can tell.
Yeah, no, people say that. They're like, oh, so you must like worship, witches and, smoke a lot of weed. And I'm like, okay, being an herbalist and being in holistic health doesn't mean that you do all
You
the
don't
crazy
have
stuff.
to be a Satan worshiping pothead.
No.
Oh,
Wow.
You don't.
You don't?
No.
But it helps.
Surprise.
Yeah, that's right. You live in Black Forest. If you were in Manitou.
Then we have a different conversation. That would be different.
not. at
They
the
don't
same
have
level.
room for Satanism and whatnot.
No.
We have to
And they
make
won't
churches
make
out
room.
there.
Yes.
Manitou just called, you'll be hearing from them.
I know. I'm used to trouble though, so it's okay. So are you the Satanist?
Don't have to do that with the bowls either.
If they were on that side of the fence. These are good people.
Yes.
But we get that a lot.
It's almost expected. Like
Yeah.
seriously, oh, you have herbs, and I'm like, no, I don't have herbs. herbs. Like if you want some sage and oregano and some marshmallow root, I can hook you up. But if you want anything outside of what you see at like the pot shops around here, you're not going to find that. In my
No,
store.
no green crosses.
Well, so let's go back in history in regards to the herbs and Native Americans and that whole. Have you studied that piece of it too? As far as is that part of the study? Because I know that there's
Not the Native
powerful
Americans,
knowledge.
Yeah, no. But
Okay.
I mean, if you think of
African
just,
American.
well, we all, that's how we're all still here, right? That's what God put on this planet was.
I just had to get
herbs.
in there.
I
That's
know.
why I just had
Yeah, I
to get
figured
in.
you're in here. You're right here.
Listen, cacao.
You're the star of the show. Come on
Yes.
Cow, cow.
now. What did she give you? I don't think that was ibuprofen.
It wasn't. I feel totally different
He's
now.
a brand new man.
Hell, my energy's back.
Oh, I love
Woo, Pop it.
You're funny. Oh my gosh.
All right. Let's have
It's
some more.
kind of hot in here.
All right, let's switch a
Switch gears.
here.
Okay, go.
Penelope,
It's
please
so
tell
awkward.
us,
We're causing too much
how did-
trouble over here.
how did you come about with the cacao and explain that piece of it? So, because I'm sure there's lots of listeners who don't know what that is.
Oh, that's a long story. Do you have time for it? Or?
She's
Not
a show
really.
girl.
Just get to the chocolate.
She said. Sorry. Come on.
No, I actually took my yoga education in London Valley, and that was back in 2017, 18. And they had cacao all over, bunch of chocolates. So when we did any kind of ceremonies, like it could be ecstatic dance, it could be inner dance, it could be meditations and sharing circles, all kind of things, we would drink cacao. And I was just like, wow, this is really good. And then I'm from Denmark. I just moved here 1.5 years ago.
You from Denmark?
I'm
Wow.
from Denmark, yeah.
That's where it has two
my,
S's.
But yeah,
That's why
that's
the
the
two S's
Pearson.
in your last
Yeah.
name.
Oh, well, welcome to America.
Yes.
Thank you.
I don't even hear an accent.
Well, I've just been to Denmark for 10 days, so I should have a little bit of an accent.
Yeah.
Some words are difficult for me still.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But then I took the cacao with me and searched for it in the area in Denmark where I lived. And I come from a little town like Black Forest, and and there was nothing there. So I kind of started by myself and started hosting in Denmark and in Greenland. So my first cacao ceremony was actually hosted in North Greenland on Thule Air Base, all the way up north, where I worked for 3 years.
So you work for the U.S. government
Yeah, I worked for the
at Thule?
the Thule Air Base.
Here's a weird fact. When I was in the Air Force, I used to do the accounting for Thule and Sonderstrom.
Oh, you
Really?
did?
Yeah.
So you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been to Sonderstrom a lot, and they also call it Kankalussuaq. Yeah. And then I took it back with me when I met my husband, Tim, up there.
And that's how you came to America with Tim?
Yes.
Are you a military spouse? Is he military or?
Yeah, he's a retired right now
Oh, very cool.
Retired from the Air Force?
from the Space Force.
Oh.
Space
Okay.
Force. Yes. We
There
gotta
was
keep
no
up
He
with
was
that.
in the Air Force, and then he,
Yes.
because Thule Air Base became Thule Space Force Base.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So that was just recent. He retired.
Yes,
Awesome.
just in August.
How long were you a military wife?
That was only for a year.
Oh, okay.
Because then he retired. Yeah. Older people now, so
Heard an old dude, didn't you? Just didn't want to throw him on the.
What's he doing now?
The cacao.
he is actually in the aerospace.
Oh, okay.
So he has a really good
It's a
job.
civilian contractor
So
now.
he's
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Is that CAO? Cow cow?
CAOCA.
No.
No, C.
Yeah.
but in
No, it's
the,
CACAO.
in the older days or back from the history, it's actually cacao with KAKAW, cacao.
Cacao.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that.
So when you said you would drink it, is it like a hot chocolate and there's healing in the chocolate or?
So when we talk about chocolate in the original form, that is what you get. So it's from the beans, and there's no added sugar. So when you eat a Hershey bar here, you would get maybe 8% of chocolate if you're lucky. Here you get 100%.
Wow.
Really?
So you can imagine the
Even a special dark?
That's there's a lot of additive and a lot of other things in it that we don't even think about. So when I receive it, it's actually kind of in a hard paste, and you have to chop it up, and it doesn't taste like chocolate at all. I think Marissa and Carol both tasted it. It's very bitter. It's the bitterest bitter, like 100% chocolate. And then you have to mix it with something to make it a little bit sweeter, because otherwise you're probably not gonna like it.
Can you put in like smoothie shakes? And...
You could, because we can use like cacao nips and stuff like that. But I would recommend mixing it with rice milk and vanilla and cinnamon. That's my favorite recipe.
Carol's like, yes. You guys can't see your head nodding, but
It is really
she's
good.
affirming that.
Yeah. So there's a long way from the serve, but you still get all the nutritional benefits from drinking raw, like the pure form of chocolate. And that's what gives people a feeling of being more calm, a feeling of being more relaxed. It has a tiny bit of caffeine in it, so some people might feel a little bit amped about it. And then it has a wonder thing in it called theobromine that is a vasodilator that dilates your vessels, so you become more relaxed, and you can go deeper into meditation if you want to, or you can keep it around us.
So you're known for cacao ceremonies.
Yes.
What is that?
So cacao ceremonies is kind of a getting together and learning more about cacao. I'll tell you a lot about the history. I'll tell you where it comes from. I'll tell you all about the nutritional benefits, how it comes all the back from the Olmecs people, and then moved up to the Mayans, and then further up. And it's been used for thousands of years. And it's said that when people are out of whack with nature, cacao comes back from the forest to bring people together. So I'm bringing people together. That's what I'm trying to create a space where you can feel safe, and you can drink this beautiful drink. You can learn more about it. You can even learn how to make your own cacao and build community. You can get to know new people if you want to, but you can also go into deeper meditation and learn more about yourself, and take the cacao with you home and experience some inner journeys and inner healings.
Awesome.
Wow.
We're going to be hosting one at Lavender and Thyme in Black Forest on the 29th, March 29th at 6 p.m. So we'll have event information for that. And I think we figure we can fit about 8 to 10 people in the space.
Oh, perfect.
Yep. So I'm excited. That'll be my third. We've had one through our meetings. And we're pretty spoiled with you, Penelope.
I was going to say you're underplaying the space that you create and hold for us. It's very beautiful, very comforting, and just this open ability to sit and share if you want. And she does a wonderful job helping people meditate, especially if it's something new to you. Then she does a great job guiding in and out, and not putting a lot of pressure on it has to look a certain way, making it really nice.
Yeah, and we're also working with our breath, doing the ceremonies. I incorporate that too, because people forget to breathe.
Yes.
The most important thing
Which
that we
is
do.
so weird, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's so true.
Isn't it called an oxymoron when you forget how to breathe?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, never mind.
That's pretty good.
Young lady,
Miss Carol.
Miss Carol. Yes. So I want to hear from you. And who are you?
Start from the beginning.
Yeah. And why should anyone care?
Why should it all okay. No, I get that a lot.
Used to that networking.
Anyone else?
I'm Carol O'Brien. I'm a Nevada native, moved here almost 4 years ago
Welcome.
with my husband's work. Thank you. And we absolutely love Colorado. And just enjoy everything about the outdoor life, the healthy, holistic living here, very much part of our roots. And vibrational sound modalities, I started those about 20 years ago. The bowls, though, are the biggest call, and I have bowls not quite as big as the table, but large enough that a person can stand in it. And it's a large grounding bowl, all the way down to little bowls that are meant for the face. And I'm trained in therapeutic vibrational therapy. So I can place the bowls on body to help you release tension, inflammation, arthritis, blood pressure, all these medical things that we tend to reach for medication for. I can help them balance out on their own because the body's miraculous.
Yeah, how did this evolve for you? What about life? Did you just wake up one day and say, I think I'll do some bowls? Or,
Yeah.
maybe I'll tinker with a little bit of this because that looks cool. How did you one get to a place where you would do that?
So at a yoga studio about 10 years ago, I went to a sound bath, and they used crystal bowls, and they sing them, and it's very loud. And for me, it was way too much, really overstimulating. It was more like nails on a chalkboard to me.
Mm.
So I left going, that's really interesting. I can see the benefits, but I don't see me going back. And then it started this rabbit hole online of researching, and I found Vibrational Sound Association. And that's who I did all of my training through. And my therapeutic bowls, they hum or purr like a cat. And there's all this scientific research that shows, when you hold a cat and that purr that they do when you bring it to your chest, what it does to our nervous system, and it helps us deregulate the stress. And so then I told my husband I wanted to go spend $10,000 on bowls and training, and he said,
he said,
do what?
He said, yay!
No.
Yes, sweetheart. Whatever
Whatever
you
you
want.
want, dear.
Not quite. He was like, do the training, don't buy the bowls. Just do the training and see. And then we went to the training. He worked in Vegas while I was doing the training. And then I came home from training each day at the end of the day and was like, look at what this bowl does. And then I got my bowls.
Nice.
Yeah. So is he into this with you?
Yes.
Yeah, that's helpful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, excuse me one more time. A little deeper dive for me, Lisa, because some people call this kind of woo-wooish.
Mhm.
You ever heard that before?
yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah, right. And it seemed like no one's neutral. Either you're woo resistant or you all woo in,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Right. The middle here. You're all in. All of you are all in,
Yes.
right? So I was asking you, so you came out of the womb, you were born to woo parents.
No, not quite.
No, okay. So how does one gravitate to that though? I mean, that's really.
Finding something that works.
But
When
you have to
a
be
pain-
exposed to it though. So
Yeah.
how do you allow yourself to be exposed to it?
For
you.
me, it was a pain point. I had debilitating migraines since I was a child.
Okay.
They started when I was in elementary school, and my parents were trying everything, right?
Mm.
Western medicine, taking you into bio doctors, wanting you to try a pill or try a scan or do this or do that, and nothing would work. And then that's when none of that was working. That pain point pushed me into the woo. So then, essential oils.
We need shirts.
There were mushroom teas.
Woo, baby.
You can do mushroom teas. Yeah, it pushes you into that because if nothing else
Nothing
works.
else was working.
So for me, it was a pain point that pushed me there.
All right, on. Isn't that really what pushes all of us to wherever we go? The pain is what creates purpose, right? And the leveraging of pain is what creates our opportunity to serve the world well,
Yes.
right? So, yeah, so thank you for engaging me here because, I'm
Some of us marry into the woo.
Tell us about that.
Yes,
That's what my husband would say.
Yes.
I married into the woo.
It was a dark night.
There was no witchery going on. Come on now.
I don't remember much. And then here I am.
So, Charlie, seriously, you were not into it before you met Melissa?
No, and I'm still woo
Marissa.
questioning.
Oh!
He
Woo-
sneaks
no,
off to
I'm-
the non-woo side
No.
when I'm not around.
I'm woo curious.
He's dabbling in the woo.
The woo
So that's why he sits in the back of the room during our meetings.
He's scared.
He's
She's
curious.
actually very user friendly for a woo woman.
Yes.
What does
Woo
that mean?
woman.
Can you expand on
This
that?
is fun.
I don't know if I want him to expand.
She's an earth girl with common sense. She's not a total granola head.
Okay.
And
She's not all
she is a
tree-hugging.
grounded
Okay.
earth person.
Grounded earth person.
Trying to translate it in my brain.
Yeah. Me too.
Okay. Well, push that back around. You weren't much help.
Well, first, Marissa, thank you so much for
Yeah,
bringing
absolutely.
on these incredible ladies and hosting with us today. This is awesome. So can you tell me, how did you all come together?
So I started, this was in May of 2022. I started a group called the Holistic Empowerment Network. And it's always a God thing in what we do. Really, it is a God thing. And I felt the need to have a group of us in the area that would bring together holistic practitioners and the community. And our whole purpose of our group is to empower people to look outside of the box. You know, I mean, there's been a lot of trust issues going around with the medical community. We'll say it nicely.
Yes.
And so it's really starting to
You were
bring-
nice.
I was nice.
Yes.
I kept the 4-letter
You
words
want
out
me
of
to
the
say
story.
exactly what's happening? No, I'm just joking. Go ahead.
That's another show on itself,
Yeah.
isn't it?
And we've had it.
Yeah, you're good. I can
Mhm.
listen to that one. So it was just expanding because, like, I had never heard about what Carol did, and I had never heard about what Penelope does, even though I do make raw chocolate. So I know about cacao, but not in her levels of what she does. And so we wanted to get us all together so people know that in case of a crisis, they can say, hey, I don't have to worry about being forced to do something I don't want to do to fix my ailment. I can call Carol. I can, start drinking this delicious drink, which is going to do all these amazing things, or they can call me. And I mean, we've got a great group of people. I think we're up to like 25, 30 members now, and we haven't even hit a year. So that's how we got together. So we really started off serving Monument, Palmer Lake, Black Forest, Peyton, Elbert, all the way out east. I think we've had people from Calhan come out.
And Rama? Is
We
that how you say
have.
that?
That's really fun.
Rima.
Rima.
Okay.
So that's how we
Yeah.
met.
Yeah,
Because that's where Laura's from.
Is she that far out?
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you two have a brick and mortar, or do you do online sales, or how does your business model look?
You have to say that again. You lost me.
Do you
Sorry.
have a
Do you have a
an
storefront?
office, a storefront like Marissa just opened up?
No, I don't have one, but you have an.
I have a home studio
Yeah.
that I practice with people, or I use yoga studios, churches, community centers.
Whatever,
You're
right?
portable.
Yeah, I'm portable too. I have the ceremonies. I started in Celestial Salt, which
I
is
know that one.
and there, and then soon with you, and then Hippie Soul Yoga. Is
Oh,
also a
yes.
place where I've been hosting Yin Yoga and Cacao.
Okay.
Is Denmark real woo-woo friendly?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
So a lot of holistic work happens there. So it came pretty natural for you then, didn't it?
I don't know if I would say that. I'm actually a RN, a nurse.
You're a nurse.
Yes. And that's a long story. I don't want to go into that rabbit hole right now.
All right, yeah.
But Denmark in general I would say Colorado Springs area maybe a little bit more. But they're pretty open.
They're pretty open.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
open.
Yeah, I think a lot of things are opening up in light of the medical, what I call it, God, what's a good word for it, Lisa? Crisis,
Yeah.
right? It's no less than a crisis, what we have in America. I'm a big proponent of cash for care. I see a cash for care practitioner. My wife and I do ourselves.
I do too. I've got Dr. Glover at Monument.
You got Dr. Glover. Yeah, I have Pinnacle Advanced Primary Care. Shout out to you. You do
Yeah, I
too.
do. Dr.
Yeah,
Geiger.
yeah, I have Dr. April.
Nice.
Lynch is my
Yeah.
doctor, my wife's doctor as well. So yeah, it's an absolute crisis. So thank you guys. I'm gonna tell you, 3 years ago, I would have been like woo adverse,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times I'm an ex-pastor, so you can see the roots of don't woo me, right?
But this is all Jesus stuff.
I went to
though.
a Catholic
Yeah.
private high
Yeah.
school.
You what?
I went to a Catholic private high
Oh,
school.
did you? Well, I'm just saying,
So,
in the
You
faith
still have no
community
clue.
are not early adopters.
Yeah.
They should be though. If you think of the roots of everything that we do, that's where it comes from. I mean, the stuff that I
Exactly.
use in my practice, that's God-given medicine.
Yes.
I mean, this is things that He put. Like, if you ever see an herb next to another herb in nature, you'll see one that can kill you, and right next to it is one that can cure you.
Hmm.
I mean, and that's a real thing. You will see that. So like if you make a mistake, like in early time, they learned by doing, right? Like, oh look, Sam just ate that herb and he's dead.
He's
Don't touch
dead.
it. Like we know to put that in the list, right? Touche pas. And then
Thank you for experimenting first. lady.
Yes. Thank you for that.
Appreciate you, sir.
Thank you. So like then they learned, oh hey, now John ate it, dummy. Quick, eat this now, and he survives. Oh cool, look at that. And so they kind of learn that plan. And so it is kind of interesting that the religious community, is like, oh, stay away, but then you learn about Reiki. And if you go to the spiritual roots of it, I mean, some say, oh my gosh, that's witchcraft, but then you're like, but then Jesus put his hands on people and healed them.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
So, I think, did they turn us away from the woo-woo because it works? I mean, I don't know. This is where I jumped down some massive rabbit holes where I'm like, who translated that book, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I will say, I mean, the pharmaceutical company, we all know that, it's a nightmare and taking too many medicines, and especially what they do to our seniors. And, this medicine, now they have 2 other ailments because of it. And then it just stacks upon each other and it's horrible. But my mom, she was a walking pharmacy. She literally, growing up, she would always have anything you could think of for whether it's a headache, body ache, whatever. She had it in her purse. And towards the end of her life, she had these little white bubble pockets on her back, and we didn't know what they were until we found a lady out in California, that's where they're at that time, who actually was like, that's where the medicine is storing itself.
Wow.
So she had to slowly only do 2 pockets at a time to let it release that medicine, and she would feel the medicine all of a sudden rush through her body, but it was stuck all throughout her body because it had nowhere else to go, because it's a chemical that you're putting in your body.
Yep.
So I was always very open to holistic options, and I still am very much into it because I saw that happen to my mom firsthand. Yeah.
Well, as all pain points do, I think the pain that we're experiencing in the medical community is pushing more people towards trying something new. It can't be any stinking worse, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
right? Yeah. Do you know Maggie? She does musical.
She does sound bowls or something.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You don't.
Yeah.
I can't remember her last name, but okay. I'm sorry. Thought I'd throw that
Shout
in.
out
I
to
thought
Maggie.
I thought it was a community of bowlers.
We all kind of hide it.
Well,
That's a different kind of, she does a different
Yeah.
kind of bowl.
Bowling league.
The bowling
The
league.
bowling
It's
league.
the private bowl society.
Well,
It's the bowls.
I only know one other person that does, well, 2 people in the state of Colorado that do my type of
Your
bowls.
modality. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's a little bit different, a little bit more on the fringe.
are you
People
marketing that on your website so people know the difference from different sounds and what they can experience with you versus what they do, or just educating?
I educate a lot on my webpage and on my Facebook page and Instagram, letting people know the difference and showing them. There's a lot of videos showing me playing bowls on people's bodies so that they understand the difference between that and a traditional sound bath where you are meditating and listening to the sound, which those are wonderful because they also help you remember to breathe.
Yes.
It's just different for different people. So not everybody wants the same flavor of healing, and it gives another flavor for people that want something.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome. Wow, what a show. I am learning some really, everyone's interested in the practical side right? So I want you guys to speak to the practical side. What, through your modality, have you seen happen as far as people getting better?
So I focus on, utilizing herbs with skincare. And, our skin health is a reflection of our internal health. So if someone has gut health, whatever, like you said with your mom, what she had inside of her body came out through the skin. It's the largest organ of the body. And when your body can't detox, sweating, doing that kind of stuff, we're going to see it in our skin. So we most commonly see it in like acne, we'll see it in eczema, rosacea, psoriasis, all the things that we see all over the body. And then we don't think, typically if you go to a doctor, they're like, oh, here's a pill.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's not fixing your problem.
No,
Like
it's like a Band-Aid,
it
right?
is always a Band-Aid. And I remember back to my grandma, she had psoriasis so bad. And I didn't, this was when I was in high school. So like, I always think, man, if I knew now,
Yes.
back then I could have helped her, because we're like, well, let's fix it topically. Well, put this cream on it, put that cream on it. But no one ever thought to say, let's look inside what you're eating. What are you drinking? What is your gut health? Well, she ended up in cirrhosis of the liver, and she wasn't a drinker. So then I know now that her liver wasn't detoxing. So all these toxins were being stored in her body, and it was coming out in these horrible itchy rashes all over her body.
Okay.
And so what I see is that I just had a customer testimony just this week. She bought my healing balm that I make, and she was suffering from super dry skin, like so much so that she was getting red bumps all over her body. She used it once and the dry bumps went away.
Nice.
And so now that is a topical thing, right? But we still, now with us in Colorado, topically, we've got super dry air. We're dealing with a lot of external factors as well. So sometimes when you have that, a topical treatment can work. But then I always want to say, well, are you drinking enough water? Are you getting electrolytes? Are you doing all the things inside too? And so that's probably the most practical with what I do, is taking those herbs, and I formulate things that you can drink and wear, so you can make your facial steamer into a tea as well, which is going to help from the inside out.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah,
And I might add, you're not wearing makeup, are you?
very little.
Very little. Yeah,
Just
she's
mascara.
beautiful, isn't she?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
lip gloss.
Yeah.
You agree with me, Charlie? She's beautiful.
She's
isn't she?
naturally
Thank
you.
beautiful.
Not blind or dumb.
Yeah, I didn't get made up for the show today either.
Yeah, your eyelashes look good though. It's just men. It's just the men that have the naturally long eyelashes.
Although my
right?
daughter Kayla's got the precious millions eyelashes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it's you get people say something nice about it, you can find something because they hit your glasses and they fog them up all the time.
Oh
know?
man, you poor thing.
I know,
All of those
right?
short eyelash girls don't feel sorry for you.
How about you? Same question. Tell us what's happening. What are the benefits for the work that you're doing for people?
The biggest, most noticeable is that it takes people out of stress response, the flight or fight, and brings them into rest and restore. So that's the biggest overlying one. 9 times out of 10, people drool, snore, fall asleep on the table every time. It's wonderful.
Oh, really?
She
I'll
thinks
come.
that because I'm
I'll
wonderful.
come just for that.
Yeah.
The rest
You
of
mean
the
you get permission to drool?
Yes. I just
I
put a
know,
little.
I
I just put a little cloth underneath if needed, and it catches everything.
Yep.
Yep, little bib. And then beyond that, I see people get off of blood pressure medication. I had a client a couple years ago in Reno who his doctor told him he was going to die of a heart attack if he didn't change his lifestyle, and his wife talked him into the woo session with me because he was not even woo curious. He was very resistant. And he came in, and after 3 sessions, his doctor's like, great, you stopped eating red meat, you stopped drinking, you did all these things. And he's like, no, I'm still doing those, but I started letting some lady hit bulls on my body. And the doctor is all confused. So
Yeah.
the biggest is the stress response coming down. And then from there, I can work on anything: pain, discomfort, nausea. I work a lot with clients who are going through cancer treatment, helping them manage symptoms of the cancer treatments. So nausea and hair loss and all those types of things that come up with those treatments, I can help mitigate those responses.
Oh my, that's big.
That is huge, actually.
That is big.
Yeah.
I would love to have been a fly on the wall when his doctor, he told
Yes.
his doctor that.
his expression is speechless, probably.
Yeah.
That's still
Yeah.
how he introduces me. This
He
is
would've
my
prob-
bowl lady. She bangs on bowls on my body, and people, the looks on their faces are always comical.
So when you
That'd be
say
cool.
that, you put a bowl like here and then you hit the bowl and the vibration goes through my arm or whatever?
Yes, so I put bowls all over the body. Say you start a session face down on a massage table, then typically I start with the bowls on the bottom of the feet to help ground you in. And I'm also gauging where the energy is going in the body and where it's not going. So my bowls change their vibration depending on where there's stagnation from more of an Eastern medicine perspective, or where there's energy flow. And then I, from there, can place bowls up the spine and all over the legs, the arms, the head, and move that energy to break up any areas of stagnation.
Awesome. I know my acupuncturist does the cupping.
Mm-hmm.
You've done the cupping. And she actually has a little poker thing that'll act, and then she puts the cup on it and it actually extracts, because when you're really stagnant in certain spots, it opens it up. It's really cool.
Yes.
Who is that?
Well, this isn't her show. I'm going to bring her on another day.
Oh,
That'll be another surprise for you, Fran.
yeah.
Yes.
We can only have one woo a month.
Woo Then you can do it weekly.
Weekly woo. There we
Yeah,
go.
so the woo crew.
There we go.
Penelope, tell us what great results you're getting from that chocolate.
From that chocolate. Well, everybody loves chocolate, right?
Yes.
Yes, they do. And this has all the nutritional benefits. So it's not the regular kind of chocolate bar that you eat, like the Hershey bar, like I said before. But something magical happened when people comes together and share and just become a part of something. So what I see in people when they come is first them being a little bit nervous. They don't know what's going on. And they go like, I'm not that spiritual. And then when they go into a deeper meditation, they all of a sudden experience how relaxed they are, how calm they are. And some people are giggling and laughing. That was what I experienced at our cacao ceremony the last time. And a lot of people have curious minds and they just go like, what is going on? I can feel this in my body. I feel more relaxed. I feel more calm. And I hope that I give them all the answers, because I like the science behind it too. There's more and more studies going on how cacao, regular intake of cacao can help your healing journey or your everyday life. But what would I say would be the most I see in people? I see people come over and over again because they like chocolate, but also because they like the community and they like having the opportunity to sit in a place where they're being guided and led into a meditation and have the opportunity to share and relax with people who are just open and hold the space for them. So instead of, I think it's a little bit opposite and then again the same, because we bring people into that parasympathetic state, but you extract something and stir up a little bit of energy. And this is more bringing together, like coming together. With me, it was a relief of grief. My boyfriend died in 2016. And that's why I was searching for something that could like bring that grounding, bring that community, bring everything together. And I've seen a lot of people in grief come to the ceremonies and feel that they could be somewhere where they could share and be safe. That is not like a therapy session. They can just talk.
Yeah.
They can just share and just be them without
great.
judgment or without, just be.
Just be.
Just be.
Yes,
be.
me. Yeah. So it's community building, the
It is.
process that you are taking people through. Yes.
It's both an individual journey for a lot of people, because some people do not want to share, and that's okay.
Mhm.
But then after a couple of times, they come again because they get curious and they like the chocolate. And then they get to know the other people, and then all of a sudden they see that connection. A lot of new people actually comes that are new to the area, and I'm new to the area too, so I get to like, it's beneficial for me too
Yes.
to get to know people.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. I know I go to the store and Ghirardelli has some cacao. Now that you mention it, so I always wonder what was that? Is 80 or 90% chocolate?
This
Yeah.
is 100% chocolate.
This is 100.
Mhm.
Does it have to be 100 to work?
No.
That sounds too stinking bitter to me. Right?
It's
very
not,
bitter.
but when you make it though, the way you make it, it's not super bitter.
No.
It's not just eating the raw chocolate.
No.
It's whatever her magic that she does to it, and it makes it. It's so good.
And you teach your clients how to do the drink so that they can enjoy it at home.
Yes, I do. I'm pretty open about everything that I put in there because I want people to know that, but I also want people to be able to take it home. You don't necessarily have to drink it every day. I use it as something special for myself when there's a full moon tomorrow. So full moon or new moon or whenever I feel called to it. So
So you got something going on tomorrow night?
I do.
What are you doing tomorrow night?
I'm doing my own full moon ceremony where I
Your
drink
own,
chocolate.
and run around the forest? at
No,
night?
I don't run around the
It's too cold
forest.
for that. Wait till
It's
summertime.
really cold.
Then the naked moon dances happen, right?
Yes, I wasn't gonna go there, but she did. I love Marissa for that.
You do the naked moon dance?
I'm not answering that question.
But when you think about the moon has something to do with moving the water and the tides. And when you think about a singing bowl, and we are 70% water, why doesn't that have an effect on us? And when you put something and drink something in your body, and the theobromine works with dilating your vessels, and you add a singing bowl maybe, then you stir up anything and everything that's in there.
I do a lot of ladies events. We needed to do a woo-woo event.
Come join us
I
on the
knew
29th.
Yeah. Do a
Special
woo-woo
wool.
That's in the
We
forest.
got to be able
even.
to hold at least like 30. You can get the community center out there, couldn't you?
It costs a lot of money.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it's not cheap. Like $100 an hour.
Okay.
But we could do the
Lisa
we could do the
Lisa
chamber.
can bankroll that.
We could do the chamber building for free. In Monument, the chamber building for free in Monument.
Oh,
Yeah.
how many
That
people
might
there?
not be
Oh, in
big
the
enough
back.
for
with the
We
Woodmore
could fit
Barn.
30.
You think so?
Or
Oh,
we
yeah.
have the Woodmore Barn if we have a.
We all seated on the floor.
We could fit 30 in there if we move those tables.
Is there heat in there? Okay.
And there's a bathroom too.
That's
I don't think we want to
for
run around
women.
on 105. We'll save that for.
She's got her great. too.
Yeah, tell us
Yes,
about
please.
that.
So we opened on March 1st. That's kind of our soft opening, but our grand opening is April 1st.
Okay.
No
And-
April Fool's joke.
Yes.
No. And so we'll have someone singing for us. I've got a lady coming, and she's going to be singing. No, not Charlie.
No,
A real singer. It's such a woman owned business
Yeah,
area.
yeah,
Like the whole area, I think all of us are women owned.
Oh, wow.
And so, and then everybody that's in the building, like aside from the stuff that I make, I have other practitioners and formulators that make stuff, and they're all women. And so it's pretty cool. So it only felt right to have a woman singer.
Yes.
And she's got an amazing voice. So she'll be there. We'll have giveaways. And the ribbon cutting is at 10:30 in the morning.
Is that with the chamber?
Tri-Lakes Chamber.
Tri-Lakes,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
And then we'll be doing the cacao ceremonies every season change.
What
So
time is your grand opening on the 1st?
It goes 10:30 until 2:30, but I'm open till 6.
Ribbon cuttings at 10:30.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ribbon cutting.
It's at
Okay.
10:30.
Yeah.
Yeah. And give people some information on how to reach you, and contact information, etc.
Absolutely. So you can find us at Lavender and Thyme, and it's THYME, aesthetics spelled with an A.com. I'll just confuse that whole thing. We're also on Facebook. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and then the address for the shop is 6755 Shoup Road in Black Forest.
Shoot Road. Yes.
Congratulations
Thank
again.
you so
I'm
much.
just watching your dream evolve online. I
It's
was just so excited for
Awesome.
you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, that is incredible. It really is. So, my friend,
Miss Carol.
Carol. Yes. Yeah. Tell people how to reach you.
My website is unbridledyogacolorado.com, and unbridled like an unbridled
Like
horse.
a loose horse.
Yes, because I am all about unbridled health and wellness. So
I love
that
it.
freedom of being well. Or I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Carol Unbridled.
Carol Unbridled.
Mhm.
All righty, that's awesome. And Penelope?
Yeah, you can find me at Moon. My company is actually called Moon Harmony, and it's moonharmony.com. Yes. Can't even remember
Say that
my
again
own.
real loud.
moon-harmony.com and on Instagram and Facebook. I think that's about it where you can find me.
And you can find all of us at the Holistic Empowerment
Yes.
Network, and that's spelled with a W.
Okay.
So we are all there in the, we are open to the community. We encourage community to come because each month we have a meeting, someone else speaks. And so one of these ladies, one of our other members, they speak about what they do and how what they do can help others. And we also teach something along the way and how people can be empowered to help themselves when they're at home.
Holistic Network?
And yep, holistic with a W. So it's Holistic Empowerment Network, WEN.
Empowerment Network.
So you can
Okay.
find us on
I'm
LinkedIn.
on there.
I know you are.
Yes.
The
I'm your biggest
fourth-
fan.
You just need to come to a meeting, girl.
I do.
Yeah. You need to
Well,
get
this
your
guy's
roll
got
on.
me really busy now, so
Well, you can bring him along. You guys can move along together.
The fourth Monday of every month.
we'll bring Michelle with us too, because we got to make her a believer.
Oh, Michelle. Oh, man.
She's not a believer.
That's my
Your
wife.
wife.
Yeah. That's a whole nother story. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, baby, if you're listening, I love you. Don't you worry about what any of these people say. All right. Yes. We have been on the Be Encouraged show with Frank and Lisa on Motivation Monday. Melissa and Carol and Marissa.
Hey,
Okay.
come on, man.
Marissa. Carol, Penelope, and Charlie on the scene today. Charlie, you've never seen Charlie this quiet
I know.
before.
It's total
Ever.
self-control.
Right,
He's
right.
braced.
You're
He's like, I'm not going to say a
Trying to stay out
word.
of trouble.
yeah, he's woo curious. So maybe next time he comes, we'll be talking about the ash tones or something like that as
Yeah.
well. So look up the ash tones as well. Tell them how to reach you, buddy.
Wow. Ashtones.com, ASHTONZ. And we are doing an alcohol-free, family-friendly St. Patrick's Day party
Oh, fun.
on St. Patrick's Day evening at the Woodmore Barn in Monument. We have sponsors that made it so it's only $12 for the whole night. Live
Okay.
music, food truck outside, and it's an alternative to everything else going on St. Patrick's Day. We say it's a St. Patrick's Day party without the headache, the heartache, or the handcuffs.
You have a dance floor
Or
there
the
too, so when
hangover.
you're
Yeah, sort of
dancing-
hangover, exactly. Yeah. And
Yeah.
some people just want to be in an environment without all the drunken shenanigans
Yes,
to
exactly.
feel, excuse my Gaelic.
So not in Manitou, but over there,
There you go.
up north.
Manitou, we love you.
Yes.
Just so you know, if you're listening in Manitou, don't take anything that Lisa said today personally.
Oh.
So
Throw me under the bus with Manitou. I love Manitou.
we'll be back next Monday with a great show as we continue to infuse hope and encouragement into our community and beyond. On the Be Encouraged show with Frank and Lisa. Lisa, you're awesome.
Thank you. You too, Frank.
Right on. Thank you all. Have a wonderful week.
Yeah, can you take a picture of us?
Oh, yeah, we're going to get a full budget.
Yes.
Oh, no, we can't escape without him.
Stop it.
How long you guys had this?
I came on co-hosting with him in January, but he's been doing it for 2 years already. Yeah.
So I knew you were an ex-pastor because Deb told me you baptized her.
I did.
And she said she had you brought her on to tell her story and
Yep.
it's a really beautiful speech and everything.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. I'm an ex-pastor.
What,
A recovered
what
pastor.
denomination?
Non-denomination. Yeah. Foursquare. You ever heard of Foursquare? Yeah, with Jack Afer. Yeah, that was part of that one.
Right?
Right here.
Oh, you were here?